Time to talk some Diddy concert, and I actually thought ahead of time that I would be ragging on this a whole lot because I still would rather them not have this on there. They should have had the Tons of Funk match instead. But that being said, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. They kept it short, so that's one of the reasons why it wasn't as bad. Um,
It's not
Well,
as
let's
bad as
just
most
consider
stuff
this.
did.
Everyone says they would rather have this match or that match. They'd rather have Antonio Cesaro on there. If they did have a match instead of this Diddy segment with entrances and everything, the match would have been like 3 minutes.
I
Would you
still,
really been happy with that?
yeah, I still rather would have seen that than a concert. But
Well, this Diddy concert was my piss break.
it would have
I
been
was-
mine if I needed to go, but that didn't hit me until Undertaker, and then I was just like, I'm keeping this, I guess.
I'll piss on the floor.
Right.
I had fun during the Diddy performance. I don't know. I thought it was cool hearing the throwbacks to Victory and Mo Money, Mo Problems. And I actually kind of dig that song that they used as the theme for WrestleMania. I really like that Skylar Grey lady. She does a lot of cool performances on different rapper songs. I haven't heard anything of her directly. I need to check that out.
I think she's
But-
a feature singer. I don't think she
was
actually has her own
featured
album.
Yeah.
on an album with Mike Shinoda when she was. She had a different name then. Fort Minor. You know, where'd
Yes.
you go? I miss you.
Oh, that's
so.
her?
That's her.
Yeah.
Oh, neato. I have to check her
I
out.
knew she wrote "Love the Way You Lie," but she doesn't perform the song.
No, but no, she did perform the song at the MTV Music Awards at one point with.
Well, that
Eminem.
being said, I think she kind of phoned it in at WrestleMania.
No, she did.
Yeah, she really seems
saw-
like that.
She just didn't really seem interested.
She
And,
also messed up during the first line. She skipped one.
yeah.
If you go back and check
But
it.
again, this isn't her song. It was actually meant for Diddy's because he had a
That
band.
Diddy
I forgot
Dirty
the
Money.
name. Yeah, Dirty Money. That was it. It was meant for him and Dirty Money because they did the song originally. And she's just filling in. So I don't expect her to sit there and go, "Oh, you know, I fucked up." She's probably like, "Oh, that was nice.
I'm getting
where's my
paid."
paycheck." Yeah.
I
Well,
thought,
I think it was fun. Diddy is a really great crowd hyper, if anything else. And he came out, he gave a shout out to New York, New Jersey. He was pointing out every part of the stadium, trying to get people involved. I think he did a great job coming out there. He got the crowd involved in his performance, if nothing else. People didn't tune out the way that they could have.
Well, what I'm going to say is,
For
at least he
me-
wasn't Flow Rider.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
didn't really
Like
do
Flo
anything
Rida,
for me,
Kevin Rudolph.
But
people
I
hate-
don't really have a whole lot of complaints because, like, on pay-per-view, it didn't even take up that much time. I mean, Kid Rock took up more time than P. Diddy did. And hearing that whole...
ugh.
Yeah, it was fine. You know, I can complain about musical performances all I want, but they seem to happen every year at WrestleMania, so I really shouldn't complain about them all that much. Well, especially when you
Hey,
know you're going to be getting it,
you know what?
and it's advertised in advance. It's not like he just showed up and took up 3 minutes of the
I
show.
have
We
to
knew
say-
he was going to be performing.
There's a difference between musical performances and musical performances done right, and we'll get into that on Punk versus Taker.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up during that. But
That's,
you know what? Actually, let's bring it up now to kind of fill this out because this is kind of going to be
okay, well, that's technically a wrestler being sung to the ring, but that's their theme song being sung to them. It's
But
part of their
that's
entrance. It's
the
a special
way it
entrance.
should be.
That's
Like
the way
Triple
it
H
should
and
be.
Motorhead at WrestleMania 17.
That's the way it should be.
Undertaker,
You should
WrestleMania
have
19, Limp Bizkit. You know,
or Josie Scott doing Batista's theme. That's exactly the way it should be done. You don't really need to have these guys do their own little performances because I can understand both sides of the coin where Mike's side's like, oh, you know, he's hyping the crowd and
Well,
Tony's side.
Let me ask you this, Brad. What did you say you used this for?
What's that?
You said you used this for a piss break. Now, would you rather
Yes.
have a musical performance go on and be somebody's piss break, or would you rather have a match relegated that position?
Well, I would have probably used Ryback's match as a piss break. That's because that's technically what I do. It's like, if
Well,
it's
isn't it
about-
better people are walking away while Diddy's up there doing his thing than someone who actually worked their ass off to get a spot at WrestleMania?
Yes and no. It's for me. I sort of go by the old school means of things. When I remember the days where they would literally have bands playing out, like doing a little intros and then playing out the wrestlers, and that's the way I believe it should be because it's a wrestling event. You know, if I want to go and see Diddy in concert, I'll go see Diddy in concert. I don't want him standing there taking up time from like the event itself. And I know the WWE, they tend to be more sports entertainment. We want to make this into like sort of glitz and glamour and add everything that we
I
can
think
to
that
it.
adds to the show, though.
It absolutely
To the
does.
pageantry.
To me, this
So-
is my complaint about it. WWE does this obviously because they think that it's the same as kind of like an intermission of
Like the
like,
Super Bowl,
it's
like
like
a halftime show.
it's the Super Bowl halftime show, exactly, where they have Beyonce or something like that come down, and they have nothing to do with football. If I were a football fan, I wouldn't want to see that either. I'd
Yeah.
be going to the Super Bowl for the football, and that kind of a thing. And it's, to me, I understand why they do stuff like that, because maybe there are people in the crowd that they wanted to go because they're like, I'm interested in wrestling, but the thing that really makes me want to go is that I also get a Diddy concert in there. There are some people that are a fan of it. But at the same time, I'm not. So that really,
Yeah,
it's similar.
I'm
It's similar
not
to
much
me.
a fan either, but I have a huge problem with when they drag on and on. This didn't
but
drag
it's what-
on.
What's
It's
similar
what
to
we
me.
actually said before. Do you remember before when we had this conversation when we did the whole sort of WrestleMania preview show? That was like 4 hours last week. We talked about the fact that they're directing themselves at casual fans. They're not directing
That's what
themselves at
Mania does
hardcore
every year,
fans.
though.
Yeah, casual fans. So this is exactly the type of thing that will direct at casual fans. And it doesn't matter if we like it or if we don't like it, or if it's just one of those things. It's going to be there. It's going to be a constant because they look at trends and say, okay, people like this person, so let's put this person in and do their song, or let's get this person to sing the theme song from the show live and sing a couple of their hits so the crowd gets in on it, and 9 times out of 10, this is what these general crowds like. But for the diehard fans, I think, well, I wouldn't say all diehard fans because we also have a difference of opinion on here. They tend to like the bands playing out the wrestlers, for an extra little live feel. Like, okay, you want that part, you want that concert part. Have, for instance, the DX band. When they sang out DX, they sang in there and did their own little bit for like a couple of minutes, and then straight into the DX theme song. The DX came out, started partying with the band, and then came out for their entrance. That's fine. I think we need to find that fine line between Kid Rock overplaying himself to the point where all the divas had to come out and rub up against him for some weird reason, to the whole Diddy thing where he's, doing. And this is the thing as well. I wouldn't have had a problem with Diddy doing this little concert spiel if he was playing someone out. It would be a lot better for me.
But you had
take
issues
it a lot
with
more.
Flo Rida playing out both John Cena and The Rock, pretty much.
Flow Rider's shit, so that's why. And he takes too long.
Well, to be
overlaps.
MGK played out Cena, and then.
And
Flo
again,
Rida.
I have an issue with MGK.
I have another point to bring about this, and I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this, but a lot of times when bands have played people out, I think this happened with Punk. I think it was also the same when Motorhead played out Triple H. I think it was the same when What's-Her-Faces played out Rey Mysterio. The song doesn't feel like it has the same energy.
Yeah,
It feels faster.
Flatter. It feels not just faster, but it feels flatter too. Like it
Yeah,
feels
it's
like it's
good.
compressed more, and I think it hinders the entrance more than it helps it actually.
Well, see, my whole thing with this is, when they use it as an intermission, it both makes sense and annoys me, because I'd rather it be used as an intermission than to be as like a focal point, which they've done in the past, where they, that Kevin Rudolph thing, they made a huge deal about Kevin Rudolph. Like, that was like one of the selling points of the pay-per-view, and I hated that because it was
Not even
like,
Kevin Rudolph makes a huge deal out of Kevin Rudolph.
but it was like they almost made that as like, we don't care about, say, like the tag team championship or something like that, but Kevin Rudolph is going to be like, when they do that shit, it annoys the hell out of me. This, when it was used more as an intermission, okay, that's not as bad.
It was promoted as, we got Rock Cena, we got Brock Lesnar, Triple H. Oh, and Diddy will be there too.
Yeah, it wasn't as like, we're gonna have WrestleMania this year with Diddy and like, that kind of a thing. So I'm not as annoyed about that. At the same time, I still don't like it, because if these 3-hour episodes of Raw, if in the middle of that they just decided that they were going to air Lillian Garcia sing a fucking song or something like that, it would annoy the living shit out of me.
They do that.
I would
But
wish
it was
for
totally
someone to
worth
come
it
and super kick her
because
in the
it
face.
set up freaking Santino Marella coming out and singing Amy Winehouse.
Oh.
Well, I mean, if every week on Raw we start
Don't
seeing
make me
yeah,
go to rehab. I said, no.
They try to make me watch The Condemned. I said no.
With the Cold Stone Steve Austin.
But I think that if we
Stone.
started getting that all the time, everybody would really start to understand that point. Like, You know what I mean? Like it,
Well, it's like
it
when
was
they had the
okay.
guest host. That was freaking atrocious.
Exactly. When they start going too far into that and they just waste time, that's what annoys me. So this being short, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I didn't
Well-
have that much of a problem with it. I thought I was going to have a problem with it. I actually kind of wanted more because, again, he did Victory, which is a great song, but he only did his verse. His verse is the worst part of the song. I like the B.I.G. part. He did Mo Money, Mo Problems. I wanted Mace to come out, or I wanted,
Yeah, but Brandon, the thing about Diddy is he's not a rapper.
I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
he's the guy who'll learn his lines and then sing them.
Yeah, he has the
That's
worst part. I mean, other than, like I said, that one bar at the end, right before the B.I.G. verse kicks in Victory, is like that's his only notable bar in the song. And like again, when they were doing Mo Money Mo Problems, I was waiting for the B.I.G. P.O. P.P.A. You know, maybe that's just me.
All right, next part, we'll talk a little World Heavyweight Championship between Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger.